It's been a while since I did a video on my website, and if you want to see that, I will put it up in the corner. But I've added some new things, and I'm trying to make it as, you know, resource heavy as possible for other artists. So things that, I've come across that I think other artists will like, or need to know, or would like to take, or who to follow. All that is kind of coming to my website, but there's a lot there already. So the new things that I'm going to go over are under the resources, and so I have art courses to try. And so some of the ones I've been doing are on Domestika. And so I have a little review of that. And there's a link to what artists I like to follow on Instagram. And some of them have been because of courses I've done on Domestika. And then there's also Raw Umber Studios. It's another great source of more for online sessions. So, like life drawing sessions, they have usually once a month a portrait life drawing course for free. But they have quite reasonable courses that you can take with more instruction for them. And same for the Royal Drawing School. I've only taken a short course for that. I am looking into maybe a year-long drawing course that's online. It looks really, really promising. So I'll keep you tuned to that. And then Patreon. I don't know Patreon or Patreon that much about it. I only just started doing Emma Carlisle's Patreon membership. So I'm on the Sketchbook Club. And so usually there's different levels of membership, and there's always, a list of what that includes. So that's good to know. And then the London Drawing Group is something that happens quite often. Again, it's online. Usually the courses are listed on Eventbrite. So maybe follow the London Drawing Group on Eventbrite, and so you'll get to know what's coming up. But there have been some really good sessions, especially the Paul Klee one that I think was with Joe Blaker. That was really, really great. And so they have guest instructors, and they'll follow maybe, an inspiration of, I think there is, there's Paul Klee. I think there might have been Francis Bacon, maybe Matisse. It's not always that. There's other things like sketchbook, looking at other artists' sketchbooks. So there's a whole wealth of things to do. And then there's Koshigunas, another artist who I follow on Instagram, and she has various courses. I think she has mini workshops once a month or something like that. And then some other ones, or you can take travel courses with her as well. And Life Drawing Symposium, I've only taken, I think, one or two sessions with them. And it's as the name describes, it's life drawing. It's online, so you'd be able to do that. And then I will be adding courses in Toronto. I haven't done that yet, like Toronto School of Art. The Art Gallery of Ontario has classes, etc. So I'll be adding those as well. So moving on to artists to follow. I list them all here. and include if I've done like a domestic course with them as well, or any other things for you to check out. Like Koshikuna has Draw Tip Tuesdays that are free to view on YouTube, and those are always neat. She also posts like a mini version of them on her Instagram page. And so this is just some of the artists that really inspire me, that I follow on different social media, but mostly Instagram. And of course, I'll be adding to that as I go along. And then go to historical artists that inspire me or have inspired me in the past. And this is not in any order of preference to inspiration. It's just kind of, when I was doing this page, it was just like, oh, I've just been looking at artwork by Eric Ravelius and had, been seeing other people mention his name as inspiration. And he was a really great illustrator and painter who tragically died young in the war. Japanese woodcuts I've always loved, and they were inspirational to the Impressionists. Alex Katz, Rembrandt, some Canadian content with Walter J. Phillips, and on and on. So you'll be able to check that out, and I give a little synopsis about how they inspire me. Medieval manuscripts I always love, especially the animals. Some of them can be really quite interesting. So I'll let you check that out. And then podcasts. Now, I don't often listen to just audio. When I'm working in the studio, I often put on YouTube instead, and it's either music, and I'm not someone who has to listen to music. I rarely really listen to music, but if something's distracting me at home, then I'll put it on. But I've just recently gone into doing art podcasts, and one that I really liked was this Art Fraud, and it's just a one-off podcast about it follows one particular gallery in New York City who duped a lot of clients into buying fraudulent works. And Alec Baldwin, who was one of those dead clients, hosts an investigative reporter called Michael Schneierson, who wrote for Vanity Fair about the whole case. There's a jealous curator, and I think Danielle Krissa is fantastic. I love her books. I have some of them on my art book review page, and she has a podcast. I think it looks like it's ended. There doesn't seem to be anything new, so she's involved in so much that I could see why she has to step back, and because she is a working artist too, and I think she needed to step back and focus on her art. And then if you like to hear about contemporary artists, there's Talk Art. There's usually all sorts of topics and people that they interview. Russell Tovey's an actor in Britain and also a huge collector of art, and he co-hosts with a gallerist, and they talk to curators and other collectors, and it's more of a, not a higher brow, but it's kind of like that, but it's really educational to listen to it and hear about the art world. And Great Women Artists podcast is Katie Hessel's podcast, and she's written an excellent book on the subject that I have also reviewed, and there's a link to that page. She's just wonderful. I love the book. I got it from the library. I have to get it myself. And Ask an Artist, this one I really like because it's really, kind of the more everyday sort of artists and what they go through to produce their art, what sort of things that they have to look at, pros and cons of things, what they do when they hit a block and things like that. It's really, really good podcast. It's British and it has two working artists as the hosts. And then there's Art Curious. She's a arts curator and she interviews people for her podcast, and one of them was Patrick Bringley, who I'm just reading his book right now. He was a New Yorker magazine events coordinator, and when his brother developed cancer, he had to step back, help him, and then when that was sadly his brother died, he just couldn't go back to that sort of world. So he always loved the Met Museum in New York and decided that he would become a security guard, and he was a security guard there for 10 years. And he's written a book about the experience. So that's just some of them. And if you have any other podcasts that you love, or any things to say, I should check out, let me know in the comments, because I'm always looking for new things like that. And this page is just other helpful links. There's where to go if you're looking for, how to draw or examples on drawing the human figure. There's a couple websites there. This one has different poses that you can do from the screen. And royalty-free photos are great for using for sources. And there's a whole Unsplash, Pixabay, and Pexels is like photographers from around the world. They post their pictures. Some are free for personal use. Some you have to pay for if you're going to use them for commercial use. But the Public Domain Review, New York Public Library, Getty Open Content, these have some historical things that you can use that are Creative Commons or copyright free. And I've just been looking into them for incorporating into jelly plate printing and adding some images to that as backgrounds for my artwork. So it's really quite cool. There's so many to choose from. A lot of museums have open content or copyright free or Creative Commons. So always look for those words when it comes to their digital collection. And then if you want to focus on doing artwork with a limited palette, these two websites are really cool, especially Color Hunt. It'll give you, I think it's 4 or 5 colors. Let's check. Yeah, 4 colors. And so I've just matched them to media that I have, and then use that as inspiration for an artwork. So those are most of the resources for artists that I have. As usual, there's my shop for buying artwork. There's sketchbook tours that are also on YouTube. It'll link you to YouTube. There's how to make a handmade sketchbook. I have that video up on YouTube, but I know some people like to have images, and I'm one of them, of step by step and written down as well. So we have that. I have a glossary of different media, even how to pronounce some media like gouache, sennelier, company, and plein air. I know some people have problems with that. And then there's my handmade watercolor shop. I won't go into too much detail with these because I covered them in a previous video. But you can buy the watercolor that I make. There's usually a little write-up about it. Kind of, I like to think of it like a little getting to know the color and how it inspires me, why I produce that color. So I think it's always helpful to know that. I also have a section on art supply stores in my own city, and also beyond. I have some in New York City, some in the Los Angeles area, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, and even Mexico City, which I was in January, February of this year. So, and under here we have, which I've talked about before, color charts. I have all the color charts that I've swatched out that I may have covered in a YouTube video. So you have a little symbol there that will, once you click on it, will bring you to the video where I talked about this and swatched it out. And just go back. And so they're usually done by name. Sometimes it's, all the gouache that I have, some of it swatched out from art store hauls that I've done. And so you'll be able to find those there. And you can click on, let's see, gouache. When you click on it, it'll bring you to a PDF, and you can download that from there if you want to, or just zoom in to see it up close and personal. And also I have my photography under the more category, and it really depends on how your screen is set up. You might see this, a little bit, you might have this, what am I trying to say? The header might be more open with these as drop downs. And then my art book reviews. There's also photography books, but there's like Daniel Chris's book right there. Just a whole whack of art books that may inspire you, may teach you. There's even ones in calligraphy, illustration, pastels, a lot of David Hockney, all sorts of books. So, and there's about 4 pages of reviews. And then I link them to Amazon. I'm not an affiliate of Amazon. It's really just to give you the details if you want to order it yourself through your own independent bookstores, or look it up at your local library. That's what I do for a lot of my books. And yeah, so that's just an update about what I've added since my last video about my website. And I hope it does help other artists. I love, finding out about other artists and being inspired by them, never copying them. That's a no-no. And so I thought I'd just put up some, I like promoting other artists and other classes that they may teach. So it's important to me to promote them. Not very good at promoting myself. So that's about it. And like I said, if you have any comments of things you would like to see on my website, I'm always looking to change things or add things. So let me know. I would really appreciate that. I hope you get some use from this. And I just thought it would be a nice way to showcase some fellow artists, obviously, as well as my artwork and the watercolor I make. But yeah, it's just, while working, you come across these things and it's like, oh, I wish I'd known about this earlier. And it's so nice to pass that information on to other people, just like, tools that I really love using. And that's why I like going to the Urban Sketchers, because you see what other people are using. And it's just nice to trade that information around. And so that's it for now. Not a long video. I just wanted to keep it short because I want you to actually go to the website and have a look around and order books, take classes, or whatever you want to do. So thanks so much. Follow me on Instagram at Eileen Riley Arts. Please like this video if it's helpful, and subscribe for if you haven't already, and you will be alerted whenever I put a video up. I'm trying to keep it to once a week. Not always possible with the situation that I have right now with my mom, but I'm getting back to a schedule, so hopefully that will continue. All right, thanks so much. Bye.